Hey guys, Jocelyn Morris here with VeganBossLady.com. So in my Instagram direct, I received a question, and this question I actually already answered in one of my coaching groups. So I thought what I would do is answer this question by sharing with you some of the Q&A session video for my coaching group. So the question that I got asked was, how can you determine a reasonable or safe amount of fat that you can lose in a certain time frame? Because part of what we try to do in my 28-day challenges is we set goals, and people are like, well, what's a reasonable goal? Like, I don't know what could be achieved in this time frame. So I totally have the answer for you. So I'm going to share with you the answer that I gave my girls in my group. And you guys can always ask me direct questions through Instagram. You can just send me a message and I try to answer every question that I get. So I'll put my Instagram down below. It's Vegan Boss Lady Official. And let's get to the answer. Let's talk about how we can come up with a number for how much we could potentially lose, okay? It's a little formula, and if you guys want the actual study that was done for how they came up with this formula, let me know and I can link it, somewhere. I can link it in the comments, because there was an actual study done, and after doing the study and then kind of applying it, they discovered that really it is very accurate. This formula. So it may seem kind of like weird. Like I hate putting numbers and formulas to things, because our body is not, strictly speaking, a math machine, right? There are so many variables: stress, hormones, sleep, previous dieting history, activity levels, like so many things, right? But they did find that this was fairly close, okay, in most cases. Now, this is for people who are somewhat active and following like a healthy diet, okay? So here is what you would do. You do need to know your fat percentage in order to do this, and even just a general idea. Let me get out my calculator and I will, I'll do the math for me so you guys can get an idea. Okay, but you might want to jot it down, because in the future, this might be really useful. I'm a numbers person, you guys. I love science and numbers and facts and data. And so for me, this kind of stuff, like I talk numbers. So this, like I can wrap my head around. I'm like, okay, I can do that, right? So you're going to take your weight, your current weight, okay, and you're going to times it by your body fat percentage. Best guess, okay? Now, I've mentioned I have an Ironman scale. Those are the scales that tell you your bone mass, your visceral fat, your BMR, your body mass, your muscle mass, your weight, obviously, your hydration. It tells you all that stuff. So even though, like, they're very, they're not, like, super accurate, okay? Because in one day, if I do it in the morning, after I work out, and then at night, I get a different reading every single time, because it's based on your hydration levels, really. So, and it's all done mathematically based on like the density of the something, right? I don't remember. But anyway, so it does vary. But what I like to do, even though it's not the most accurate if you do it first thing in the morning, I think with this scale, you're supposed to do it after, like at 10 a.m. after you've eaten and whatever. But I just like to follow trends, right? So I like to do it first thing in the morning after I've gone to the bathroom. And I just, even though I know that's not the accurate reading, like I would never be like, I'm going to go into competition and that's exactly what I am. No, because I know it's not that accurate, but it does tell me a trend, okay? And I like to see whether it's going up or going down. And the cool thing is, ever since I started my 6-week challenge, you guys, it's been going down. Small increments, you guys, but my body fat is going down. So for example, for me, so I weigh 133 pounds, okay? So I'm going to times that by that fat percentage varies. Let's just say 22% right now, okay? So 133 times 0.22, okay? That's going to give me 29.26, okay? That is the amount, that's the pounds of fat on my body, okay? So jot that number down, and then you're going to take that number, the pounds of fat, and you're going to times it by 31, okay? So that number gives me 907, all right? So 907, that's the number of calories that you need to be in deficit every day to lose weight, okay? So there are multiple ways to become in a caloric deficit. Eating less, obviously, is one of them. Doing cardio is one of them. Increasing your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, right? Your non-exercise activities like walking around, playing with kids, whatever, doing housework. Weight training also, right? Forms of activity. Those are ways to create deficits. So I need a 907 calorie deficit. So if I take that number and I times it by 7 for 1 week, okay, that gives me 6,349. So if you take that number, the weekly caloric deficit number, and you divide it by 3,500, because 3,500 calories per week equals 1 pound of fat, is what they say. That gives me 1.8. So according to this formula, I could safely lose 1.8 pounds of fat. Okay, that's not muscle, of fat every week. Okay, so if I wanted to times that by 4, because it's a 4-week challenge, that gives me 7.25 pounds. So that just gives you an idea of a number you could shoot for. Okay, like I told you, me to lose 10 pounds in 4 weeks, like, that would be really hard, you guys. But 7 pounds, that's still pretty hard, but I could try, right? That gives me like my target. It's nice to have like a factual target that you can go for, okay? So if I were to lose more than this, then I'm losing things, hey Joy, then I'm losing those things that I don't want to be losing, like the muscle mass and different things. So this is a way to calculate the amount of fat that you can lose. Because, you know, weight loss is such a tricky thing. Your weight fluctuates based on your hydration levels, on your inflammation. Like if you had a really tough workout, your body's going to be inflamed, you're going to weigh more. It can be fluctuate based on how much sodium you had, right? It can fluctuate based on your bowels and if they're full or if you've had a movement. Like there's so many things that affect your weight, but this formula is going to tell you basically the amount of fat that you could lose, okay? So, and that's what we're focusing on here. We're focusing on losing fat, right? Not just losing weight, because we don't, like I've mentioned, we could chop off an appendage and lose weight. That's not aesthetically pleasing, right? We want to lose fat to create the aesthetic look that we want, to fit in our clothes better, to be healthier, right? Like there's so many problems that can come with too much visceral fat and different things like that. Like getting the fat around your organs to disappear is so important. So that is that. So in the meal plan, you'll want to look at like what you're eating then, okay? You can calculate your total daily energy expenditure, okay, your TDEE. There are tons of calculators online. Just Google TD as in dog, EE calculator. Go to one of those, put in the information for you, find out what your total daily energy expenditure is, okay? And then I'm not sure, like some of them will account for exercise, some won't, but you know, generally. And then see what calories you're eating. If you're following the meal plan that's provided for you, you're at 1750, give or take, okay? So just assume 1750. And then see if that gives you enough of a calorie deficit to lose weight, okay? If it doesn't, simply talk to me and we'll find a way to reduce some calories. Generally, it's just by eliminating a little, like some of the fruit, really. Or just doing, instead of, if a meal calls for 3 servings, three servings, we could split it into 4 servings, right? That will just like, you know, reduce the calories ever so slightly. Or you can increase your cardio, your weight training, your level of activity, right? The amount of calories you're burning. If you have an Apple Watch, you know, like, I'm not saying they're perfect, but it does give you a good idea. I think I burn on average, about 2,800 calories, I think it is. Is it? It's about 25 to 2,800 calories is what I burn a day. My TDEE, my basic is about 2,300. And then some days I burn 500, some days I burn more. Some days I burn 1,000, you guys, it was crazy. But, and that's based on like my weight, my body fat percentage, my activity levels, and all those different things, right? So my calories right now are at about 1,600-ish for me to lose weight. And I just barely reduced it though. I was at 1700. So, you know, you just got to make tweaks. You got to make slight adjustments because your body, like I've mentioned, your body adapts. And a lot of you guys are maybe just starting out on doing some sort of calorie, you know, tracking or restricting. And so you're good, right? Like you'll see the results because you're being mindful of what you're eating. And if you follow the meal plan, it's an extremely healthy meal plan. But say you do the meal plan for, you know, 4 weeks and then you plateau. Then it's time to look at what you're doing. Make a slight adjustment, right? Like reducing by 50 calories, maybe 100 calories, and increasing your cardio by like, you know, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just little bits, right? Just making those slight minor adjustments. They're not too painful, you guys. And then you'll keep seeing results. You know, people get so frustrated when they hit a plateau and they don't know what to do, right? But there are ways to break plateaus. A ton of ways. So if ever you guys hit a plateau, even if we're not doing this challenge, you guys, like, just reach out to me. I am happy to help. Okay, so that is our lesson for today with a little extra bonus based on the question. Hopefully I explained it well. If you guys have more questions on that, just let me know and I'll try to explain better or give you more information. So as part of my 28-day challenge, you guys get daily coaching and I answer your questions. So if you're interested in joining my 28-day challenge, the link is down below. And Monday, you guys, I'm coming out with a new program. I'm so excited. So stay tuned for that because we're going to have something new and exciting and so big coming. So we'll see you then. Bye.